How is everyone doing this evening? What is happening? Let's get this shit live and shared, and it is late. I need to go to sleep, but this is an important thing. The MJS Daily Recap rarely gets skipped. I was about to say doesn't get skipped, but it rarely gets skipped. So let's get into it right now. What's happening? Hello. It is I. Here's the thing. One, welcome to the MJS Daily Recap. So happy that you can join us or watch this on the rerun. I greatly appreciate it. What we're going to do here is we're going to talk about some stuff, kind of my day, and also this is a special day because tomorrow is the U.S. election. Much highly anticipated, most divisive thing that I've ever witnessed in my entire life, and I'm going to give some brief off-the-cuff thoughts about it because I am not a political analyst by any means, and I honestly can't stand the bullshit. So let's jump into it. But that is going to be at the end. So you're going to have to wait like 5 minutes because I'm going to blow through this other stuff first. Okay, so let's do that. Every Monday I have a finance meeting with myself, one person, on all the business. I go through everything, and I'm actually going to raise this up a little bit. Ooh, look, my desk goes up. That's cool. Finance meeting with myself. I revisited my budget a little bit, just like my personal budget items. There's honestly, like, I don't spend like too much money in my opinion. I question the idea of other people spending money. Like, what I mean is there's a lot of people out there that spend money on a lot of random shit. And I'm not trying to compare myself to other people, but I am doing that in a sense to try to get like a relative, relative like gauge. And I don't spend a lot of money on a lot of different things. Like I spend money on, most of my money is probably spent on food. And then you have the essentials, like you have gasoline in your car, and you have, there's a couple things that I pay for that are subscription based. Like one is the gym, which I don't use enough. And, a couple other things, like obviously you got to get your haircut and stuff like that. And just things that like you'd have to be really minimal to not do. Like, if that makes sense. Like you'd have to go real minimal to not pay for those things. And that's not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to sacrifice haircuts. So point of that being I revisited the budget a little bit, just as, always trying to look at that, see if there's anything that I can get rid of or just like save money here and there. And it's pretty lean, I would say, for the most part. For the stuff that I do, the stuff that I think is important, I think it's pretty lean. So we'll continue to do that. But once Amanda and I are out on our own, we're going to obviously have to make it as tight as possible, at least initially. So that'll probably be within this next year. So yeah. Next thing was also in there. I was getting in the weeds with some bookkeeping, so I was like switched over to the business bookkeeping, and I made this sale on AM and the PM where I purchased something, and I have to make sure that I have that all bookkeeped properly, so I can obviously show my accountant and say like this is what we the cost of goods sold. This is the fees that was for the payment processor. This is the money we made, like all that sort of stuff. And that's just kind of like annoying more than anything, just because you got to like manage all that. So we'll see how that continues to, go. Because I was thinking of a bunch of different strategies, and I don't know what ultimately is going to happen there. But yeah, so we'll see. Next thing, I cleaned the email, just because I had a lot of shit like kind of piling up on the business email. So I took care of all that. I listed my Tiger King costume from this weekend on Facebook Marketplace, and I also tried returning it via Amazon. They actually accepted that, but like it would cost money to ship it back, and like they gave me 3 options. So they gave me an option to keep it, and they'd refund me $10. So I actually went with that option. So yeah, so we'll see what happens there. And then I processed FBP 64. It's a really great episode, easy to edit too, so that's fantastic. And that is actually uploaded to YouTube, not published yet. It'll be live on Wednesday at noon, but I'm happy that I'm ahead of the game on that because there's some other things that I want to take care of later in the week. Very exciting stuff. So I received this AM and the PM crop top, and it's tiny as fuck. Like, it's a medium large, and it's just tiny. It's thin. It fits my sister. It's probably not going to fit Amanda. I'm just not very impressed overall. So that's kind of annoying. But I think that is probably one of the products that they're just kind of lacking in. Printful is. And ultimately, you know, we got to move towards like an FBP and stuff like that. We got to move towards actual custom made clothing in a sense. So, you know, I'm not super concerned about this, but it is just, you know, it's a process. Like, you do one thing, you got to learn from it, and you got to try to figure out, you know, where to go next, what to buy next, or what to, you know, how to tweak like the products that you're selling. So excited about AM and the PM merch, but that crop top is not really the greatest thing in the world. So we're going to add more products, and we're going to do all sorts of stuff, but that is the current state of affairs on that, at least. I did a little bit of MJS site work here and kind of just go over it. Really nothing crazy. I was looking at the Goodreads section. I wanted to do something different. I was playing around with a bunch of different things, but ultimately I just have it separated for now. And it's just the books that I've completed and then the books that I still need to read that are like on my reading list. I want this to be a dual thing. Like, you can come here, and if you want to learn, if you want to, you know, get my opinion on a book that I've completed, because I want to say read, but I don't read. So it's going to be listened to. But I'll put those here, and then like the ones that I still need to read down here. So if you want to read them before me, then, you know, feel free. That type of thing. Just, I think this is a really cool idea. I want to do a little bit more for it. Obviously, none of this is done, and I don't really know if this is ever going to get done, this whole website. There's just so much stuff that I want to do. So, but that is kind of the current state of affairs there. I did that. I might have done something else. I added some more resources. I actually realized that I was kind of missing some of the resources. They weren't displaying properly. So you should go to the resources page. There's a lot of good shit on here. I'll put the link in the chat here if you want to check that out. This website's just turning into a fucking monster. It's awesome. So yeah, but not done yet, like I said, but go take a look. Oh, also Google Keep got a new icon today, so I'm gonna have to update that. This little guy up here. It's interesting. But yeah, so yeah, just working on it slowly but surely. Discover It card. If you don't have a credit card, this is highly recommend this credit card right here. It's really good, great. 5% rotating categories. You'll get that all back. And then if you use this link right here, if you click this link and you apply, if you do this thing, you click this, you apply, they accept you, and you make a purchase in the first 3 months, you'll get a $50 statement credit, and so will I. So I'd appreciate that if you click that link if you want to get that. So that's something that you could do. Okay, so I did a little bit of site work, played 2 hockey games, crazy, a lot of running, lots of goals, both sides. Definitely need to go to the chiropractor. Not like my back is messed up, but like there's a lot of tightness, especially today too. It's kind of weird. My hip, I think, is a little tight. I don't know what's going on, but I definitely need to probably see somebody. And the chiropractor actually emailed me back, so that's cool. Or not emailed, but messaged me back. So hopefully that I can go there, go see him. And the guy that I want to go to actually has like 500K followers on TikTok. So hopefully he's a dude that wants to be like relevant. Not saying that like the things that I can provide are relevant, but it'd be cool if he could like come on the podcast too. That would be great. FBP. So we'll see with all that. Just trying to continue to move forward. All right. So here's the deal. I'm going to talk about this real quick because I don't know. I just kind of want to throw it out there. Just kind of like my quick thoughts on this election and all this stuff. The first thing that I do want to say is I will be watching the election. Where is it? I will be watching the election somewhere here. Hang on. Let me get a direct link for you. If anybody likes this stuff, oh wait, well, it looks like they don't have something scheduled, but I will just send you, or I will put on this thing the link to a channel that I'm subscribed to, Patrick Bet David's channel. There you go. If you go there, he has a podcast, and they're gonna do like a live show for the election. I'll be watching that, but I also have hockey tomorrow night during the time that it's on, so I might not catch all of it. But here's my thoughts, okay? I'll try to boil it down as quickly as possible and make the most sense. First thing that I want to say is I'm gonna go pull Casey Neistat here, and I'm saying I'm voting for. Wait, no. How did he say it last year? He said, He said Hillary Clinton, but like Donald Trump. I am voting for Donald Trump. However the hell he did it. But he's not voting for Trump. But that's who I'm voting for. Okay. I don't care. Actually, fun fact, if you look on my website and you go to my story, I was a Republican since I registered to vote when I was 18, and now I'm an independent because I genuinely don't give a fuck about the left. I don't want to say left or right. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about Republican or Democrat. I care about I don't want to be a part of a side or a part of a team. I just kind of want to be a good person and have good ideas and want to move society forward. And I'm doing that all very individually because I am a very individualist type person, because I'm never going to sway from that. Like, I feel like the only way to move forward is to focus on yourself. It's the only way. Because when everybody would do that, I feel like we would just all fucking catapult in the right direction. Can you imagine 380 whatever fucking million people focusing on what they can do to better themselves, which would in turn better the world? I don't know why people think that that's a bad idea, but I don't believe I'll ever understand that. And that's fine. Because one of the things that I'm trying to do as I gain wisdom and I talk to more people and stuff is I want to make sure that I am not being combative, because there's no need to be combative. Like, most of the people that I meet that don't have similar views as me, I'm probably not going to change their mind. You know, there's a difference between like the things that I do. So if I put out like a video about entrepreneurship or like some content about entrepreneurship or something, or one of these courses and things like that, like, it's people that want to get better at XYZ, whether it's finance or entrepreneurship, and they think that I know what I'm doing, which I try to know what I'm doing, but you know, I'm always learning. And then that's why they're consuming that content. Generally, I feel that's how it goes. Like, unfortunately, you're not going to get too many people that are going to get like their minds are going to be changed. And then it's good to have the conversations, because I think it's good to see people's different perspectives, but you're not, it's like it shouldn't be victory. Like, I actually saw a really good quote. It's like the outcome of a discussion like that shouldn't be victory. It should be progress. And I agree with that. You know, and that's kind of what I want to make sure that I try to continue to do. Because I don't want to get emotional, because I feel like that is a really bad thing to do. So when somebody says, like, you see all this junk on Instagram and Facebook and all that, and Twitter, and when somebody says something you don't agree with, just like, don't even worry about it. Like, it's like, that's fine. You do you. I don't care. You know, you can't be combative about it, and I do my best to do that, and I still fall victim to that sometimes. But I don't know. It's just been a really interesting time, and I want to make sure the reason that I'm doing this is not because like I want people to know, like, or I don't care what people know. Like, I'm not trying to like solicit people to fucking vote for Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck who you vote for. You do what you want to do. But like, I'm doing this to document. I want to be able to come back to this video if the world is not completely burned in, you know, like 20 years, and say, this is what I thought on this day. How have my views changed? Like, you know, am I the same person? Like, was I right to think that? Was I wrong to think that? And really just document in general. I think it's I always say that like the worst thing that could come out of all this stuff that I'm doing, like the absolute worst case scenario, is I fail completely and I don't make any money and have to get a job or whatever the fuck happens. And the worst thing is that my kids and my grandkids would be able to see what their, you know, father or grandfather was like when he was their age, or, you know, he was young or whatever. And it's assuming all, you know, you can still see the shit, but you get what I'm saying. Is like, you're making a fucking time capsule of the things that you thought of and you were planning on and you were doing, and you're just documenting all that. And I think that is an incredible fucking thing that not enough people do. Because it's interesting. Like, everybody wants to know, you know, history and especially like family and stuff like that. That's just that example, but just in general, I think it's incredible. So that's the worst case scenario. Now, better case scenario is like we help people and we positively affect people's lives in the world, and we have an incredible, fulfilling life. And that's what I'm after, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. To get back to the election thing specifically, I get a lot of influences from, you know, I live in my parents' house, and you see and you hear different things like that, and you've gotten all that over the years, and then you consume your own media, right? Like YouTube videos and social media and all that sort of stuff, and you get influences from that, and then you develop your own opinions based on your own personal experiences, which I don't really have any like positive or negative ones. Like I don't like every person that I meet, I try to treat the exact same way. I try to treat them, with kindness and respect. And I think that I do a really good job of that. Like I would think that anybody that knows me personally has ever interacted with me, I would hope that they think that I'm pretty respectable, right? So, I mean, you have those types of things, which that is the thing is like I've been, you get these other influences from other people, and it's like you don't realize that a lot of times you're getting influences that they personally went through, or they are like their life situation or this, that, or the other thing was like influenced however they're thinking. And it's a little, it puts a little, strain on like sort of the way that it all kind of meshes together and works, and how everything kind of, plays out, I would say. I really, there's a couple core things. My foot bleeding? No. There's a couple core things that I've started to try to realize, and it's like my life has like, I'm an individualist. I think about myself and my situation kind of, I would say first. Like, I don't think it's selfish. If you think it's selfish, then that's fine. But it's not me and only me. It's me first. Because if I'm not in a good place, if I'm not in a good place mentally, physically, if you want to say spiritually, whatever, like if I'm not in a good place from all of those things, then I can't do anything to benefit anybody else. So that is always why I think of that first. And again, not sure why people can't wrap their head around that. I'm not sure why people try to help other people before they've helped themselves. It's a really big fucking problem, I think, in my opinion, but you do what you want. But that is how I operate. And I'll tell you what, over the last year, it has been fucking life-changing. So I try, like, in these situations where you have to like try to pick a leader of the fucking free world, I try to think about that type of thing. And I just align more. I wouldn't say that I'm like conservative. I just changed I don't know if I finished that thought earlier, but I changed to independent. I was a registered Republican. I changed to independent because I don't want to be associated with the other side. I want to look at the options and I want to pick the best one. Given the options. Like, that's another thing too. It's like, we're picking a fucking person, like, and you only have like two options, maybe three if you count the independent libertarian candidate here, Joe Jorgensen, but it's a little fucked because like there's a very, very low likelihood that you would have to literally have some sort of, I don't even know what you would have to have in order for that to happen. I mean, there's just so many problems with the system. That's really that's one of the roots of the problems. But we can't solve everything right now. I'm not going to solve anything right now. But that we're not even going to discuss that. I'm literally going to just nix that out of there. Is she probably the best? I don't know anything the fuck about her. The position seems like it's probably kind of the best. It's kind of like more middle of both. But at the same time, I don't know. There's probably a lot of things that I don't know about it because we don't know the good and the bad of that, because they just don't get any attention, right? No debates or anything like that. So we're just gonna leave that out of the equation because it doesn't fucking matter in my opinion. I bet you it's not gonna matter. I bet they're just gonna get like fucking 5% of the votes, maybe max. I don't even know. We'll see. But critique me if I'm wrong. I don't give a fuck. Here's the thing. There's a couple core things. I really believe in the individualist thing. Like I said, I believe that in conjunction with that, you can't give people things for free. I believe that you have to work hard. Life is not fair. Everybody. There's no way everybody could be born into the same fucking, instance. I was born here. There was people born here. There's people born here. I don't know what the fuck to say about that. I don't know how to fix that. If you have a fucking solution that would actually fix that, I guess tell me, or I guess tell the world if you want. But truthfully, I think that a big problem is that people think that these solutions would work, and like in theory they would. It's kind of like a lot of like school. It's like there's a lot of theory work, and then you actually get into an application sense or like a real world scenario. It's like, do you have any that, like, even if that would somehow work, there's so many problems with how it would actually have to be implemented that it's like impossible. So regardless, I don't know if that is really, like a good use of, like, if it makes sense to really try to go that route where you're trying to, fix those types of things or whatever. But kind of off track there. So I personally, I'll just kind of give my kind of like a political, I guess, somewhat of the opinions on the issues. I don't care too much about like religion. Like, I was raised Catholic and I'm not practicing Catholic anymore and stuff like that, so that's not a big deal to me. So I definitely don't side with like conservative viewpoint on that type of thing. It doesn't matter. What other issues? Like pro-life, pro-choice thing. I'm not a woman. I don't really have an opinion on what women should be able to do. I think it's a little messed up that people like abort children like late in their pregnancy, but at the same time, like, I'm not a woman. I don't know what to say. So I think there's definitely situations that warrant that type of a thing. If like, rape and all that sort of stuff, like, I'm not going to go into it deeply, but I think there's some times that it would warrant that sort of, thing. But again, that's almost like an issue that I don't feel like I have an opinion with. Like, why do we even have men's opinions on fucking abortion? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like socially and stuff like that with like, gay rights or, I don't know, just any sort of thing like that. I don't fucking care. Like, what kind of person would really care if like two gay people wanted to get married? Like, who is that hurting? What is the fucking deal that, like, I don't know why anybody like would be upset about that sort of thing. So here's what I mean though. You can already start to see that like I don't align with either side. And I love that because I don't want to fucking be aligned with either side because it's so divisive. It's like we're just pulling shit like further and further. It's like a tug of war game and it's terrible. So, but here's the problem. Okay. We talked about those types of things. Immigration maybe is another one. Like, I think you should come here legally. I know it's difficult. I know it's the best country in the world. And that's the kind of funny part is like, this is the best country in the world. And like, I don't say that from like a, this is the best country in the world. Fuck all of you. It's like, it's just the best. Like, it's quantifiably the best. People want to come here. People say they're going to leave here and they don't leave here. It's quantifiably the best. I mean, it's the economy and everything like that we've had for so long. It's just, I don't even know how you argue against that one. Okay. And it's not shitting on other people. It's literally just an observation. That's this is the best country in the world. It has been. And it's amazing that it got to how it was in such a short amount of time. Comparatively, I guess, I'm not a history crazy person, but like, like comparatively to all the other, how much time the other nations have been, since they were founded and everything like that. But it's interesting. It's interesting to me, but it's definitely the best in the world. Like, there's no doubt. Like, all things considered, overall 100%. And that's why I do love living here. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I've never known anywhere else, but, it's just, those are like, I don't know how you could, I never consider myself like a patriot, but that's just it though. It's like, I recognize greatness. Like, I recognize how good we have it. And I don't want it to necessarily just be thrown away or anything like that. And, when you have people that say that they are going to leave if a certain candidate wins or this, that, or the other thing or that or whatever, and then they don't leave, it's like, well, that kind of shows you that this is the best fucking place in the world. And then when you have literally like millions and millions of people that want to come in and immigrate to the country, that also kind of shows you that. So many so that we have immigration problems and we don't have, like, we can't vet people and all that sort of stuff. We have illegal immigration and all that. And like, and the fact that, people are okay. I'm not deep into this, but, and I don't know the deal, but the people, like the idea that you could actually say with a straight face that you don't care about who comes into the country, our country, it's kind of fucked up to me. The fact that you don't care at all, that's a little weird. Like, I would love everyone to come in, but I use the house analogy because I've heard this house analogy because it's a great one. It's like, you don't care who comes in your house. Just gonna leave your door unlocked and fucking open and anybody could come in? Like, can we all acknowledge that there are bad people in the world? Like, that's a thing, right? Be nice if there weren't any bad people in the world. But there definitely are, you know? And they're not fucking red or blue. They're just bad people. Like, it has nothing to do with their skin color, doesn't have anything to do with their political views, doesn't have anything to do with their religious beliefs. They're just bad fucking people. Some bad people. And there's a lot of good people. And there's some bad people. So I just don't understand why everything has to be kind of like pinned to a certain characteristic of people. And that's the biggest problem that I have with, I guess you can characterize the left of that. It doesn't even fucking matter though, because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if it's right or left. That's a problem that I have. I don't understand why that becomes an issue that is pulled into every single thing. And yeah, so that's kind of where I stand on that. And I wish I had a list. I've always wanted this type of thing where it's like a list of items, like you know, like immigration, abortion, economy, like all these things, and just kind of like run through this in my head. I'm just trying to go through them right now. Another big thing, like I kind of touched on earlier, is this idea that we can give people things for free versus like maybe like a capitalist, free market, open market type thing. And as an entrepreneur, obviously I'm heavily into capitalism. Like I am making no money right now. And whose fault is that? That is 100% my fault. Like I am going to make money. So that's aside. But what I'm saying is like, I am not making any money because I decided to move away from something that I didn't like, move into business and creating things for myself. And I'm going to manufacture a way to make a living while simultaneously being happy. And you can only do that sort of a thing in like a free open market society. So I love that. I think that there are bigger problems with like, and I'm not saying, I don't really know if fucking Joe Biden is going to implement socialism. It seems like a left-leaning concept, obviously, but that's not even the fucking point. Again, I'm not really trying to make this about the election specifically. I'm just trying to like put some thoughts out there, right? And the idea that, again, that you can give people free things for extended periods of time. There are certain situations, unemployment. I understand that. You get laid off. Yeah, fuck yeah. COVID. I mean, whatever the fuck. Like you can't work. You should be somewhat. I feel like it, as a country, if you're doing things for people, that seems like something. Long-term types of things to help people, and like the more and more that happens, like there are deeper problems. It's not about the amount of money. Like fuck, they just keep printing money. Like who gives a shit? Like I guess nobody cares. It's not about the money. It's not about like whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's like a something that should be done on like a political level. It's like, hello HGCHCG. We're just talking about stuff. It's not about all that sort of stuff. It's about like the idea that, let me give you an example. If you go to work, okay, and you work for 40 hours and you make whatever the fuck, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's say you go to work and you make $1,000, however long that takes you. And then you go out and you purchase a new iPhone with that $1,000. Like you work pretty hard for that $1,000. So you work pretty hard for that iPhone. Like, are you going to treat that iPhone better than if somebody just handed you an iPhone for free? Like, I would argue the answer is yes. I know that I would, I work for things, I make the money, and then I go and then I purchase things, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at, that I've seen this a lot, and maybe there's people that this doesn't affect them, but it's even one step deeper than that. For the first reason though, like the first reason is when you actually work for things and there are like the work produces reward, I think you appreciate it much more. That's the first thing. But more so the second thing, I don't actually think that people that get free things, I'm talking very general here. Like I don't even know the fucking whole background of like any sort of social programs and stuff like that. But I'm just saying in general, anybody that gets like a free type of thing, I really don't see how you can be like happy in the long term, and I'm not just talking about one program or one thing or anything like that, I'm just talking in general. If you are being fed things, okay, in a society that is, just wants to help its citizens nonstop and doesn't want to like empower them to do something more, like personally or like professionally or from an open market standpoint or anything like that, I really don't think, it is my belief that those citizens, those people are not going to be happy. Like they're going to be like deceived and think that, oh, this is great, like I'm not doing anything and I'm getting money or I'm getting this, that, or the other thing, and they're really just like not doing anything, and they're not going to be happy. Like, I don't know, my goal in life is to be happy and to be fulfilled, and I think that is personally the right way to go. Again, if you don't want to do that, then you don't do that. But everybody has their beliefs, and that's the thing that I'm starting to learn is like everybody has their beliefs, and that's how people vote, that's how people think, that's how people live their lives, and I'm gonna embrace mine. Like, I need to make sure that you do that, and I would encourage you to do the same thing. So that's kind of the way that I'm thinking. And I guarantee you that if your life doesn't have meaning right now for whatever reason, right? Like, whatever the reason may be, if you find yourself in a position where you don't have meaning, you don't have something to do every single day that makes you happy, you don't have, family to look forward to, coming home to, or whatever, like you don't have this, that, or the other thing. If you started to build some of that shit into your life, I guarantee you'd be more happy, more fulfilled. Maybe you don't want to do that. That is totally fine. But all I'm saying is I guarantee you that if that is your goal and you want to do that, then I'll definitely guarantee you that will make you more happy. I'm just speaking from personal experience there. Like, I literally was in a shitty position, did not like what I was doing every single day, and I said, fuck this, I'm going to do something else, and I did something else. Now, you can argue that maybe I was in a better position than some people. Well, you know what? Some people were in a better position than me. So I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Like, I really, like, that argument is weird. I've never heard anybody use that argument for some reason. It's like, oh, this person can't do this because they're not as far along, or they're not in the same position. This one person is more fortunate, more privileged, more this. You know what? I was here. There are some people that are here. There are also some people that are fucking up here. And I did it. I did it. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm actually trying to give anybody out there that wants to listen to this, and people in the future or whatever, like, just go do it. I'm behind you. You're behind you. People that fucking care about you are going to be behind you. Go fucking do it. Fuck what anybody else says. Turn that shit off and go fucking do whatever the fuck you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody. That's kind of a caveat you always got to put in there. But, like, seriously, like, just go fucking do it. This is about empowering people. Like, why are we get rid of the divisiveness. Don't even give a fuck about the other fucking sides of the fucking bullshit. Just go fucking do whatever you want. Seriously. You only got one fucking life. What the fuck are you wasting it for? Like, seriously. So that's kind of like overall the way that I think about things. And I could go down the box and I could say, well, this kind of leans this way, this kind of leans this way. But at the end of the day, the reason that I actually don't really like politics, I really don't think about it at all around until it's like election time, and it's like, fuck, well, I guess I have to, and I'm being constantly fucking thrown shit in my face on social media and all these other places, is that when it comes down to it, here's the thing. Think about this. I just listed all those things, okay? I think I would venture a guess to say that there's a lot of people that are similar to me, right? They not saying that they believe exactly the things that I believe, but if you go down a list like that, there's probably a lot of people that it's like, well, I'm kind of like rightish here and I'm leftish here or whatever, however you think, however you've been, your perspective and all that sort of stuff. And that's fine. I think that's how it should be. But let's think about this. So you get to this end of this fucking checklist, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? Let's say there's 10 issues and fucking 6 of them are on the right and 4 of them are on the left. Are you gonna just fucking vote for the right? Like, it's like, that is why this is so fucked. It's because there's no real way to take what you believe and actually imprint it on your vote. Because at the end of the day, it's fucking binary. And that is really, again, one of the biggest problems, in my opinion. I don't know how to solve it. I really don't. Because you can't just introduce a third candidate. You couldn't just do that. Like this Joe Jorgensen thing. Like, well, let's see how many percentage of the votes you get. Like, this is probably like the most recent time where it's like, well, maybe you should vote third party. It's like, I don't know. Because like, and then fucking Democrats say, don't vote third party because that's taking away Democrat votes. It's like, it's a fucking game. And I hate that. But that's really the crux of it, is that people, you can't, there's no way to take your values and your morals and your perspective and actually vote to it. Because there's probably not a lot of fucking people that actually agree all left and all right. Like, I think a lot of people I agree maybe a lot with it. I mean, I don't know the numbers. I'm just guessing. Because I think that I meet a lot of people that are similar to me, meaning that they are not like fucking staunch one way and staunch the other way. But you see a lot of that in media. But at the end of the day, it's like you could have a conversation with somebody and they're not a complete fucking crazy person. They're just a normal human being. So that's why I think about that. It's like, well, some people care about these things, but they don't care about these things. And, it doesn't really matter. So that's what I mean is there's no way to actually take all that information and your perspectives, your beliefs, and actually put that in a candidate, because at the end of the day, there's only two options and you basically pick the lesser of two evils. Is really kind of what it comes down to, and that's kind of what we have here. I'll talk about the candidates for a brief bit here because I can't think of any actual other issues. There's probably millions more, but I can't think of them. We've had Donald Trump for 4 years. My life has gotten better or stayed the same. Like, it definitely hasn't gotten any worse. Investments, economy, through the roof. I think he's done a lot more than people give him credit for. I don't know every single fucking thing he's done. He seems like he's hard but fair on other countries, China and stuff in particular. And I think that these other countries are actually more of a danger to people, more of a danger to us than I think people give them credit for. I don't think China is a really good influence, I don't think China is like a really good thing for us, if that makes sense. I'm not going to go into it because I don't know enough about it. But unless you want to be like somebody, they're probably not the best to be like influenced by or to entangle with. Like, you obviously, like, you talk to people and it's like you might not like them that much, but you deal with them, right? Because that's necessary. That's kind of like life. It's kind of like that with China, in my opinion. Like, we probably don't want to be like a fucking authoritarian, whatever the fuck they are. Unless you do. And then maybe you should just go there. I don't know. But that's kind of the way that I think about that. So there's all that. Trump, like, as a person, kind of an asshole, right? Like, I think everybody would agree with that. But I think that's kind of where the problems start, is because are you voting for, like, you go down this line, right? You go down this list of, I want, this on, this idea on abortion, this idea on immigration. I'm just using those again as examples. And you go down this line, right? And you have your data in your head. And then you go and you say, okay, well, that's great. Now I have to fucking pick one person. This is fucking terrible, right? And then you pick the one person, and that's where it starts, I think. It's like, maybe, I bet you there's actually probably like people or like, like ideas out there where it's like, well, I know I was like this. Like, I kind of feel like I definitely align more with Trump, we'll say, or the right or whatever, right? But he's kind of an asshole. Like, he's kind of an asshole, right? And then people are probably like turned off to that. It's like, I don't want to vote for an asshole. But he's not like a fucking like a vindictive asshole. He's kind of just like an ego guy that gets stuff done, and he likes to fucking toot his own horn, and he was in business. So he's like, and there's also this whole other problem where, like, I think he came in from the outside, and I don't think that politics really like that. And a lot of the insiders are like, well, this is fucking bullshit. Like, I mean, he ran on the Republican ticket, and he was technically, I think, a Democrat for like most of his life. And he never had any problems with anybody. And normally when you're in business, like, you're tough, but you're not trying to like make enemies per se. You know, you're trying to like be a good person, I think, for the most part. I mean, maybe you're like maybe you're an asshole, but you're not going to go on a talk show and purposely like make enemies or stuff like that. I just think it's a very interesting situation, the whole thing. And I think that is the real problem here, is like he came into politics and people in politics were like, wow, this guy's on the outside, and like, how did he win and all this stuff. And like, when you're a politician for life and you're in that sphere, it's like, well, it's kind of just like, we're doing whatever the fuck we want and people don't really care. So I'll get into that, I guess, more a little bit. But anyway, that's what I think about like kind of Trump. Like Biden, on the other hand, clearly has some degrading mental deficiencies going on. Not as much as people make it seem like, in my opinion. Like, he seems like he can at least go through a debate, but I don't know what that really actually entails. I don't think that I think that there actually was probably better candidates for Democrats to run. And I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't give a fuck, but that is the case. I do not like, from the very limited stuff that I know about Kamala Harris, like, I just do not like her. Like, she seems like a very, she seems like a woman that I would not want to talk to and I would not want to deal with. Specifically in the vice presidential debate. She's just extremely disrespectful. Now, probably going to say Trump is disrespectful too. I mean, you're kind of right there. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that, but like, she was straight up disrespectful in a position that like didn't need it, like didn't like even warrant it. And he's like sometimes disrespectful most of the time when people are giving him shit. But like in that debate thing, like Pence wasn't giving her any shit. She was just being a bitch. So again, we can call it a wash though. Maybe they're both assholes. That's fine. Whatever. The whole Biden thing though, like, I think the problem that people have with Biden, maybe the dementia type, I don't know, it doesn't matter. The bigger problem that people have with Biden is that, and if you notice, it's like stereotypical politician shit. It's like, oh, fucking, you know, all the things about his family, but it's not about his family. Like that's one thing. It's like, they're not bringing his son into it because like, oh, you got fucking D's in fucking college. Like it's not like a fucking family issue. It's like he was over in fucking China or some shit dealing with like energy companies and like doing foreign deals that were like under the table and making money, like whatever the fuck it is. Like if any of that's true, that's a little bit of a conflict. You know, like why? Like, I don't understand. I saw this one time, like somebody said something about like bringing his kids into it and his family into it is a low blow. It's like, look, I somewhat agree with you there. But not in this case, because it has something very pertinent to do with like the leader of the fucking free world and like doing like weird international deals with, you know, whatever. I don't know the details, but that seems a little weird. The whole green thing and all that sort of stuff, like I don't really know what that entails. I guess I'm all for keeping the planet, you know, nice enough for us to continue living here. That would probably be a good idea. But there's fundamental logical problems that I have with that. Again, on limited knowledge, but how do you power the country with renewable resources when I'm pretty sure like in California they tried this and they only got like 15% or something. I don't know what the numbers are, but it was a very low percentage of like using renewable energy and like solar and wind or whatever the fuck they were using as opposed to like fossil fuels. Again, I don't know all the details, but that kind of seems a little like you can't. Okay, like you have problem. Let's think about this like just very generally. You have problem. Okay, we have problem. We've said that there's somewhat of a problem here with whatever it is. All right. Well, our goal as logical individuals should be to go from problem to solution. Perfect. That makes sense. So problem to solution. Okay. So there's this middle part in here where you got to figure out what the fuck you're gonna do and make sure that it's gonna work before you just start randomly doing things. Because if you start randomly doing things, you could arrive at like some sort of other fucking 10,000 problems that now you're going to have 10,000 problems and you're not going to have any solutions. So you got to be at least like somewhat logical in to get from here to here. you can't, you got to have like a thought out solution. Maybe like, maybe test it. Like if they tested that, I'm glad that they tested it. But if it didn't fucking work, then that's not the solution. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So I don't know. Again, I don't know the details there. I'm just trying to fill it in as much as possible. And again, this is just the way that I think. So there's that. I think that's almost all of it. The one looming thing is just 2020, right? I mean, this has been a year from fucking absolutely out of a fucking storybook. I don't know how the fuck it happened. I don't know what in the hell we did to deserve any of this. No, I'm just kidding. I just saw a tweet. Okay, I'm going to start with this. I just saw a tweet, and it says something like, somebody said, fuck. What the fuck was it? It said something to the effect of, I don't even like Trump, but I really hate Biden and Kamala. And there was a first line that said like, fuck, that was the important part. God damn it, I gotta look at it. I got it, hang on 1 second. Momentary pause. We got it. Hang on. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Wait. You've got to be shitting me. I don't know. It was something something to the effect of like, I don't know how people would live, like, or something like that. Yada yada. Fuck. I can't remember. I cannot remember the fucking important part. But the second tweet in response to that was like, millions of people have not survived the last 8 months. Maybe it was like, I will not survive or something, like if Trump doesn't win. I don't know what the fuck it was. But then the second part was like, it was the more important part. Millions of people have not survived the last 8 months of Trump. I think it was, the first part was like, Trump has done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong, but the first 4 years haven't been bad. And then somebody said like the in response to that, millions of people haven't survived the last 8 months of Trump. Please, somebody form a good argument as to why Trump is specifically to blame for the fucking pandemic. Like, you can argue that he didn't handle it well. But here's the thing. That's a fucking shitty argument because you have no idea how the fuck anybody else would have handled it. Like, you don't. Like, how, like, do you think Biden would have handled it well? You're never going to know that, and you have absolutely no idea of how to go about making that argument. And even if you did say, oh, he would have done this, you have no fucking idea how that would have actually played out. Could have been the exact same. It's a shit argument. It doesn't hold any weight because it's a completely predictive argument, and I don't know how you can do it. Make the argument. Go ahead. People make it on social media all the time, but I don't understand it whatsoever. Again, I'm not even defending Trump in this case. I'm not defending how he fucking handled it, what he said, don't wear the mask, not wearing the mask. Like, I don't even give a fuck about all that. I don't even want to talk about COVID ever again. I just hope it starts to go away here pretty soon. But like, why is there always an obscene and extremely like blatant lack of fucking logic? Like, why? It's like, if you're making a good argument, I'm gonna say that makes a lot of sense. I agree with you there. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And this was just some random fucker on Twitter, so whatever. You do you, girl. But that's just what I'm saying. Is like, that type of stuff right there gets me riled up slightly, but I do my best to hold it back. But that is the stuff that way back, going way back to the beginning, you need to be a little bit better. Like, you need to be better here. You need to be better here. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. And now you put this stupid shit out into the world and other people are reading it and like, this person said that. They're on Twitter. That makes sense. Don't do that. Like, I don't know what to say. But again, here's the thing with that. We are never going to fix that fucking problem. Like, that's never going to get fixed. There are too many people out there with access to the internet now and to the world and all this other stuff, and that's never going to get fixed. I'm not going to dive into like the social dilemma and all that sort of stuff. Watch the documentary if you haven't, but that is not going to get fixed. Well, I mean, it needs to get fixed, but I don't have much faith for that. Again, here's the thing. I'm going to tie it all together with this. That is the thing, is that the only way that something like that were to get fixed, something like, all these other issues that we're talking about, is you first. Me first. You first, me first. You first for you, me first for me, Joe first for Joe, Sally first for Sally. Because when you don't have your shit together, you're not logical, you're not well educated, you're not hardworking, you're not disciplined, you're not any of these things, everything else goes out the fucking window. Seriously. Like, you don't have an aim, you don't have any goals, like you don't have this, that, or the other thing. Your life's gonna be shitty, and normally when I feel like shit, I spew that shit onto other people. And when I don't feel like shit, I'm happy and I'm positive and I'm optimistic, and I put that out in the world. So again, I'm gonna run my life, run on my ticket here. I'm gonna run my life with that in mind, and I'm gonna make sure that I always try to put that out in the world, and I always try to tell people and try to influence people ever so slightly to just think about them fucking selves first. And it's going to be a difficult one, because there's going to be a lot of fucking people out there for some reason that think that is selfish. But I'm a certain, I don't know the definition of selfish. I'm not going to look it up. I think my definition of selfish is probably different than that. My definition of selfish is only thinking about yourself. And that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying think about yourself first, get your shit in order, get your house in order, and as soon as you can do that, boom, you can help everybody else. And here's the thing. When you're in a good spot and you see other people that are struggling, you're going to want to help them. Like, you're honestly going to want to help them. If you know how to do anything really well, I guarantee you that there's a high likelihood you're going to want to help other people learn how to do that, get better at something, I don't know, just get into a better place in their life. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done in my own life. I'm not going to ever try to preach anything that I don't do. And I know that my life has improved from that. And that's pretty much it. All this other stuff aside, we've talked about the election day thoughts. We've talked about all these things. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know. I'm anxious and I'm dreading it at the same time. It'll be very interesting to see it. It'll be very interesting to be alive in this time of history. I hope there's not another fucking civil war. The last thing I guess I'll leave is, we can just do this real quick. Like, if Trump wins, I'm kind of quite concerned, because not because of what will happen moving forward, because nothing's going to happen moving forward. Like, it's going to be the same thing from an administrative standpoint. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be 100% fucking fine. You're not going to notice anything. It'll be fine. But I'm concerned about the response. Rioting, looting, and all that sort of stuff. Not okay in my book. And I hope that it's not severe, but I don't know. I'm not saying that it would happen. I'm saying that potentially I think that would happen. But we'll see. So there's that. And then if Biden wins, I don't really think that there would be much of it. There might be some response, like, from that, from that angle. I don't know. We'd have to see. And truthfully, if Biden wins, I think politics will just kind of go back to the way they were. Nobody really cares too much. I think that that's the reason that this is getting so much attention, is because people care more than usual, because Trump is an outsider and so many other things. And, obviously he's already been in there, and people have been stewing for 4 years and just all sorts of stuff. So those are my thoughts, man. I try to be as authentic and genuine as possible. I really enjoy it. I think it keeps an open dialogue and just lets people see my perspective. If you agree with it, okay. If you don't agree with it, okay. It doesn't matter one way or another. I'm just here to give people kind of ideas and hopefully help, because like I said, a lot of things in my life I think I've got in order, and when I have shit in order, I can help other people get their stuff in order. It's that simple. And again, I really think that more people should follow that. More people should do that, should implement that mindset. And that's more than anything, more than any of this political shit, more than any of, anything that we're going through today with all this sort of stuff. That is really the only thing that I give a fuck about. Focusing on me, increasing my proficiency in every single little space that I can. And as I do that, I push that information off to other people. So I'm voting for Donald Trump. Said that earlier. I just did like a whole thing here on the election day thoughts, so you might have to go back and check it out. But yeah, so there's a lot in there. I'm obviously not going to go back and do it again. But again, the motif here is not necessarily political. It's more of sort of like the way that I've arrived at all the things that I do, and the ways that I thanks Adam plays, but all the things that I've thought of, all the things that I've arrived at, all the perspectives that I have. At the end of the day, it's more than that. It's bigger than politics, bigger than all this other stuff. And I just really think that has worked for me. It's worked for me. I've really benefited tremendously from taking a lot of time to focus on the things that I want to do, focus on, the stuff that I'm building up, focus on my own personal development. And when you do that, it allows you, again, to just become happier, more fulfilled. And when you really take that time and actually think about the stuff that you like, it starts to change your life. It starts to change your mindset. You become more positive, more optimistic. And then once that all happens, again, you get your house in order. You can fucking you can influence others to think about that the same way, and hopefully, just increase their happiness and fulfillment. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not a political pundit. I'm not anything like that. We talked about a bunch of different things today. It's a very interesting time in our history. The eve of a huge election here. And again, either way, I don't really think it's going to affect me too much. I just put out a tweet today or the other day. I was like, your life isn't going to change much, regardless of the outcome. I'm almost certain of that. It's never ever really changed before, has it? Like a little bit here and there, obviously, policies and stuff like that. But like the idea that like Trump wins and your life changes in a week, or Biden wins and your life changes in a week, very fucking far-fetched. Like that's not going to happen. So if you let it happen, though, like if you get caught up in it, I think that's a much bigger problem than what would actually happen. Focus on yourself, focus on the things that you have going on, and then as you do that, start to give back, and that's it. That's all I got. I mean, that's literally the fucking way that I lead my life, and I can speak from personal experience that it's helped me. So that's what I want to leave you guys with. I thank you so much for tuning in. I'm extremely tired. This went on way longer than I wanted it to, but I thought it was good content, so yeah. Yes, I'm also ready for Corona to be over. I don't know what would make it be over, though. It's a whole nother discussion. I don't really believe I believe that there's some politicalness to it, but I'm not the fucking disease and everything like that is real, obviously, but there's so much to that, and I'm ready to go back to a sense of normalcy, not wearing masks and stuff like that, and we will see what happens there. I have no predictions on that. It's a very wild time, as all of you, I'm sure, have experienced, and we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully things continue to trend in a positive direction, and yeah, I have no idea what to say there. I have none, because it's just been an interesting time. A lot of back and forth, a lot of numbers and all sorts of stuff, and I could probably talk more about it, but again, that's even a more sensitive topic than probably the other shit that I've touched on here. But one thing I will say about it, because again, it's more of a general thing, is that the way that I've chosen to lead my life is to not be afraid. I don't really actually go out too much because I'm working right here in this fucking room, but like when I go out, I'm not afraid of something. Like, I'm not gonna let anything stop me from trying to live the life that I want to lead. And I think that is not really a good way to proceed. And a lot of people disagree with me on that. And that is where you get a lot of pushback from the idea of, like, you know, you're fucking selfish, you're gonna hurt other people, this, that, or the other thing. And I don't believe that. And again, there's a lot of pieces to this specifically that kind of, you know, it kind of like fucks with all that. But there's just too much to that. What do I do for a living? I appreciate the questions. Thank you so much, man. So briefly though, this is actually much more on topic to normal things. What this is I go live every night. It's called the MJS Daily Recap, and I just talk about the things that I do. Brief history. I used to work in the marketing department of a real estate agency. That was in the beginning of this year. I resigned. The last like 8-10 months here or whatever, I have been working on my own businesses. So I have MJS Industries. Let me put the link in here, because this is really like the only per se link that you need. It'll show you everything. If you are interested in it, I'd be more than happy to talk about it again and stuff like that. You can always reach out to me too on all the social media and everything like that. Mark J. Szymanski everywhere. This is it. Mark J. Szymanski. Yeah, same thing as the YouTube channel. Anywhere, that's my username. But brief history on that real quick, because this is pertinent. I love talking about this. Resigned from my job because I didn't like that anymore. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be more fulfilled doing the things that I love. So I started MJS Industries, which is just a parent company that holds the other businesses that I have. And on that list, there is Szymanski Media, which is kind of just all this sort of stuff. It's just an outlet for me to talk about entrepreneurship, personal finance, all the things that I'm doing. You know, just maybe some consulting and stuff like that. So that's probably a big part of it, business consulting, as we continue to grow, and just content creation. Find It Tech is a web development company, which I build websites. I built all of my own websites. I built websites for clients. That's kind of what that is. FBP, Fueled by Progress, is currently a podcast that has people on, currently just in the Pittsburgh area, just like friends and stuff like that. But as we expand, obviously we're going to have more people. But that is just because I'm fueled by progress. Like, I consistently want to get better every day, and that's the only way that I continue to stay happy and fulfilled. So that's the messaging there. There's also going to be a very, like, as I continue to grow here, a significant clothing line with that, because I want stuff that, you know, physical attire that can represent that. Also have AM and the PM, which is a couples podcast that my girlfriend Amanda and I do. We have some merch and things like that we're working on as well, but that's just kind of like a brand that her and I do, which is highly, highly effective. It's a great idea. I would say if you have a significant other and you want to do something, maybe try a podcast, just something to continue to, like bond over in a sense. And then I think the last one is, there's actually so many. The last one is Zenith Properties Group, which is currently not really a thing yet, but I want to get into real estate one day. So that is a partnership that I have that, we'll probably go somewhere at some point as we get more capital, because you need capital to buy shit like buildings. So that's the deal. And again, just to kind of wrap all that up, tie it up with a nice bow, I did all that stuff because I really enjoyed all that stuff. Like, I've built all of this. I've been working on this empire all of 2020, this crazy year we've had. And I'm so excited for the next steps. And I hope the next steps are into like more of a normal world and stuff like that. Can't control any of it though, really. Like, you can whine and moan about it, but you can't control it, right? So this is fucking why you have to continuously come back to yourself. You're the only thing in the world that you can fucking control. Why are you devoting any other time to other shit? Like, why are you, not you specifically, but like me, like, why would I ever think about and dedicate my, like, any of my time, ideally, or worry or anything like that, to things that I can't control? That is the craziest thing in my mind. And I'm telling you, when I changed that, when I went from, this is my life, and I'm just gonna go to a shitty job, not like a shitty job, excuse me, it wasn't really a shitty job, it was me, I didn't want to be there. So like, why would I subject myself to something I don't want to do? Why would I care about bullshit ideas and thoughts and stuff like that from people that I don't, that are negative or whatever? Why would I do all that sort of stuff when I can just go and I can make my own things, and I can hustle, and I can do the things that I want, and be around people that I want to be around, people that are thought leaders, people that are creative, talented, and all that sort of stuff. And that's what I decided to do. And that's why I've done this. And again, for the millionth time, it's all about staying in control of what you actually have control over and working on your fucking self. Because if you're not working on yourself, nobody else is going to fucking work on you. Like, it's that's just my opinion. And if you don't like it, like I said, that's fine. If you don't want to implement it, that's fine. But all I'm telling you is that I have had extreme positive, like, impacts on my life from that. And I know other people that have done that, and they've had positive impacts on their life. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I got. Like, honestly, that is the whole kit and caboodle. I appreciate the questions. Thank you so much. That is, I love talking about that stuff. I could talk about it all day. I kind of do talk about it here. Before we got into all the politic talk, I kind of talk about everything that we do that. Famous YouTuber? Me too, sort of. I mean, like, I think that's a part of it. I would let me see if I can kind of, like, just give some thought on that there real quick. So I think that's definitely a great goal, and you should continue to move towards that. Make sure that you continue to audit the things that you want. Meaning, like, as you grow and as you get more talented in what you're doing and stuff like that, make sure that because here's the big thing. It's like, I want to do all these things right now. I'll use myself as an example. I want to do all these things right now. Like, I make content on YouTube for my personal stuff here, this MJS stuff. I make content on YouTube for the podcast and all that sort of things. If it ever gets to a time, though, where, like, you don't want to do that anymore, like, don't force yourself to do that just because that is what you originally set out to do. You got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to change. And you got to be able to, like, realize when it's time to reinvent yourself or to change things up, because that's super important. Because when you get to a plateau, or you get to a place where it doesn't feel like you're growing anymore, it's probably because you need to try something new. And I'm not saying that you're at that. I'm not saying that it's time to do any of that or anything like that, or I even know when it's time to do that. It's hard to tell all that sort of shit. But, the one other piece of advice that I'll give you is, I've already started to experience this. There's a lot of stuff that goes into, like, specifically YouTube videos that is difficult. It's not difficult, but it's, like, time consuming, we'll say. And, like, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, for instance, like, editing YouTube videos and stuff. If you don't like editing YouTube videos and you like being in the YouTube videos and producing content, I need to do this. I need to hire somebody to edit my YouTube videos, because I don't want to necessarily do that. Like, I enjoy it to a certain degree, but I think my value is better placed elsewhere. All I'm saying, again, is it kind of goes back to working on yourself and hugely self-awareness. Just do the shit that you want to do. Just make sure that every day when you get up out of bed, you are going to somewhere. In me, it's fucking 5 feet from my bed right over there to this desk. You're going towards something that is going to make you happy and is going to make you fulfilled and is going to happen, like, is going to just increase the level of happiness in your life. And As long as the answer to that question is always yes, that's where I'm headed, you're going to have a great life. I used to think a lot about money. I still think a lot about money because I like money, but at the same time, like, you know, it's not all about money. Like, it's not all about like this, like, at least in my kind of upbringing, that's what it was hugely about. And like different things that, you know, my parents and whoever taught me, you gotta be thinking about money. It's like, yeah, that's important. But at the same time, you know, there's definitely a bigger payoff to being happy and being fulfilled and having a lot of energy and being positive and having people like being around you and all that sort of stuff, rather than just going every single day to a job that doesn't really, you know, make you appreciate or like make you want to live, and just getting a paycheck type thing. So I don't know. We've kind of ran the gauntlet here on a lot of topics, but that's kind of what I think. And again, my life has positively been affected by that, and truthfully, I couldn't be happier. There's a lot of craziness, like I said, obviously going on, but that's it. So other than that, though, I again truly always 100% without a doubt appreciate the support here, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, so yeah, like, I don't want to work somewhere that I don't like just because of the money. 100% agree with you, man. And I would wholeheartedly recommend you to just dive in there as much as you can, with YouTube and everything like that. I'm actually gonna subscribe to your channel right now, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the engagement. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. Everyone keep doing what you're doing. Just chase fucking happiness. Chase happiness. Chase fulfillment. Chase the things that are going to make you want to get the fuck out of bed every morning. That is my best advice. Go out and vote tomorrow for whoever the fuck aligns most with your perspectives and your beliefs. I'm not telling you to go vote because, I don't know. Which candidate is a simp? That's a tough one. Simp. We got to look up the actual definition of simp. Simp. Someone who does way too much for a person they like. Well, I mean, by that definition, 100% that's got to be Biden, because just from that definition alone, because Trump doesn't give a fuck if you like him or not, which is a reason that a lot of people do enjoy his stuff. So, false definition. It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy simping. I don't know what that means. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at here. Getting questions about which one is the bigger simp. I don't know. That word has gotten used a lot more since November 2019. That's crazy. Oh wow, this is really interesting. Urban Dictionary. I'll throw it over here real quick. This is really interesting. Look at this. Shows you when it was used. And it's like way back here. It was used a couple times. So way back here in like 2013, 2012. What the fuck was going on there? Interesting. I don't know. But again, guys, that's pretty much all I got. I gotta go to sleep. It's fucking 2:20 here. I really appreciate the support, as always. I do this every night, so if you want to sub, follow, whatever, I would appreciate it. If not, that's cool too. I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to do things that I enjoy, document the stuff, and all that. So, holy. Yeah, I'm not holy, but thanks. But yeah. So, This is a lot of engagement. I really appreciate this. We get this once in a while. That's tremendous. But thank you guys so much, as always. Yeah. And we'll talk to you maybe tomorrow, maybe never. But as always, I appreciate the support. And go out and vote for whoever, again, aligns with your beliefs. That's it. So, have a good night.